It's so crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right now.
Candace Parker just voiced what every Caitlyn Clark supporter has been shouting all season long. And it's exactly the message the WNBA's old guard never wanted to face. The league, especially the commissioner, needs to pay close attention. Because while many hoped a new season would bring a fresh outlook toward Caitlyn and her fans, the negativity has only grown. The jealousy is louder, the bitterness deeper, and the double standards clearer than ever. But Candace, a WNBA legend, stepped in during an interview and made them all look foolish. Her words were simple common sense, cutting straight through the noise and putting the situation into perspective. Maybe now the critics will finally stop and think. Because if this season has revealed anything, it's this: the more Caitlyn wins, the more the league unravels. Let's break down what Candace said in her interview, because it might be the calmest yet most powerful clapback against Caitlyn Clark haters and the WNBA's old guard. But first, hit like on this video. Every like equals one tissue for the haters. They'll need it after Candace's remarks. And don't forget to subscribe for more Caitlyn Clark and Fever updates. So why did Candace speak up now, and why does it matter? Here's the reason.
Out of women's basketball, for a horrible team when she arrived, outside of LeBron and Steph, she is the most well-known basketball player currently playing in the United States.
Oh, yes. And I don't think that's close.
The WNBA is exploding with growth right now, and it's all thanks to Caitlyn Clark. It's the worst-kept secret in sports. Caitlyn isn't just the most popular player in league history, she's arguably the most popular athlete in America. Period. We all saw the numbers last season: historic TV ratings, surging ticket sales, and merchandise flying off shelves. Every single metric pointed to one truth: Caitlyn moves the needle like no one else. And this year, she's already surpassing those benchmarks. Sold-out arenas, record-breaking broadcasts. The Caitlyn Clark effect isn't slowing down. It's accelerating.
The second highest viewership, which is like average viewership. However, it was the highest peak of any game ever on CBS.
Fans are tuning in to watch Caitlyn Clark and the Fever at unprecedented levels. It started with 1.3 million viewers for a preseason exhibition against Brazil. Let that sink in. Preseason numbers most regular season games could only dream of. Then came the season opener, 2.7 million average viewers against the Sky, the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years. And recently, a peak of 3.3 million tuned in to watch her face the Liberty. But then injury struck, and everything shifted overnight.
And now that Caitlyn Clark is injured, oh, the ticket prices for the Fever and Sky game just plummeted to Hades.
Ticket prices for Fever games without Caitlyn dropped a staggering 300%. And while Fever fans have managed to hold strong in TV ratings, I'll explain more on that later, the rest of the league has struggled badly. This should serve as a major wake-up call to everyone: players, coaches, executives, and the league office itself. Caitlyn Clark is projected to generate over $1 billion in revenue for the WNBA this year alone. And that means one thing: the league is just one Caitlyn Clark injury away from losing all its momentum. So those CBA dollars Angel Reese expects, that new deal Nafisa Collier insists players have leverage for. You might think you're in control, but without Caitlyn, forget it. And yet somehow, the league keeps hurting itself. Instead of embracing the clear truth about who's driving this growth, they twist into knots pretending it's someone else. Rather than celebrating progress, they keep dragging the conversation away from basketball. 5. Interview. We're only a few games into the season, and already it's been mistake after mistake in how Caitlyn and her fans have been treated. It took just one game for chaos to erupt. After the opener against the Sky, the league launched an investigation into supposed hate speech based on virtually nothing. But the damage was done. Instead of celebrating Caitlyn's incredible debut and a historic moment for the WNBA, the headlines were hijacked. The story wasn't about basketball, it was about controversy. And once again, Caitlyn Clark and her fans were dragged into a narrative that had nothing to do with the court.
You even though it's 100% false, by acknowledging we don't condone hate and not seeing that this was a internet rumor founded of complete bullshit, you're lending credence to this. There was none of that.
From that chaos came claims that Indianapolis wasn't safe for players and that Caitlyn Clark's fans were toxic. Some people even suggested moving the All-Star game. Others demanded Dave Portnoy be banned from arenas for heckling Angel Reese. Meanwhile, the league has stayed completely silent about the real hate being directed at Caitlyn and the Fever. No statements. No defense. No support. Nothing.
We've gone way out of bounds.
The attacks aimed at Fever players, especially Caitlyn, went far beyond basketball. These weren't simple critiques of her performance or her popularity. They were hateful and threatening.
The kind of stuff that's being said to them, the stuff that's being said to Kelsey Mitchell, the kind of things that are being said to Natasha Howard are actually wild. People have taken a photo of these women and circled a bullseye on them and have said, "It's on site when I see you." Those are actual threats.
These weren't harmless comments. They were serious threats, the kind of targeted personal abuse you'd expect the league, especially one that prides itself on inclusion, to condemn. But instead, silence. No statement. No protection. No backing. And things only escalated. Now, fans on X are even accusing Caitlyn of using her assistant coach's baby as a prop.
Caitlyn Clark is getting some of the grossest, most morbid comments, racist, hateful. We're talking the cup runneth over with hate. Here, Kathy Engelbert, you're no space for hate. Where are you right now?
Yes, you heard that right. They're attacking Caitlyn Clark for holding a baby. That's the absurd level of discourse we've reached. It's shifted from criticism to conspiracy, and the league still refuses to say anything. The hate against Caitlyn and her fans hasn't faded, it's intensified. And despite the sold-out games, record-breaking viewership, and undeniable numbers, people still resist acknowledging her impact. And it starts at the very top.
Kathy Engelbert, in this long, drawn-out article, goes on and gives herself credit for why the WNBA has finally entered some type of mainstream conversation.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert even published a piece in the Harvard Business Review where she bent over backward to claim credit and spread it everywhere except to the person actually driving success. Coaches, players, marketing teams, league strategy, you name it. She mentioned it. Everyone got a pat on the back, except Caitlyn Clark.
To new followers and outside observers, our organization's success might seem overnight and even lucky, prepared by a singularly exceptional group of college players coming into the WNBA. However, we could not have capitalized on those advantages without years of hard work and preparation. Years of hard work and preparation. It might have seemed like it came overnight.
Engelbert watered down Caitlyn's impact more than a fast food fountain soda. In the article, she grouped Caitlyn with Angel Reese and Cameron Brink, saying that as these rookies entered the league, average viewership jumped to 1.2 million per game, up 170% from the prior season. But let's be real, you know it, I know it, and even your dog knows it, it was Caitlyn's games driving that average. Yet because the old guard can't stand her getting the spotlight, there's a constant scramble to hand out credit to anyone but her.
They just can't. They just can't not even wrap their head around. They can't just accept, okay, this person is more popular than me, or this person is more popular than the player that we want to push.
Being jealous is one thing, it's human. But what we're seeing is far beyond jealousy. There's an intentional effort to push Caitlyn down just to feel lifted up. And far too often, the narrative turns to race as the explanation for her attention. As if it has nothing to do with her breaking 62 WNBA records, earning first-team All-Star, finishing 4th in MVP voting, and dragging a bottom-tier team into the playoffs in her rookie year. Whether they admit it or not, Caitlyn Clark is creating a better situation for everyone. When the spotlight shines on her, it doesn't just stop, it illuminates the whole league.
When they play in these arenas where there are 15 to 20,000 people in the stands, they are in front of people that they haven't been in front of before. That is an opportunity for all of us fans to get to know all the players on the court, all of the players in the WNBA, to pick new favorite players, to pick other teams that we want to follow along.
Legends have already spoken up, people who built this league and understand the stakes. Lisa Leslie, Hall of Famer and one of the most respected voices in women's basketball, dropped a mic moment during her interview when she called out the jealousy surrounding Caitlyn Clark.
I think it's all about money, marketing, and we cannot deny what Caitlyn Clark has done for the women's game. I'm not going to act like it's something that we don't see. She's had a huge effect called the Caitlyn Clark effect. Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlyn Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games?
And yet, the pushback continues. Once again, the league needed a reality check, and only the old guard, the legends who know how rare this moment is, can deliver it. And Candace Parker is as old guard as it comes. A 3-time WNBA champion, 2-time league MVP, and 2-time Olympic gold medalist. One of the most decorated, respected, and intelligent players the league has ever seen. This week, she joined Stephen A. Smith on First Take for an interview to do what few others in the league have dared: address the elephant in the room.
Ultimately, it comes down to the fact that there were an abundance of women in the WNBA doing tremendous work on behalf of the WNBA and the game of basketball, and you just sense that folks were feeling an absence of appreciation.
Stephen A. Smith, credit where it's due, hasn't shied away from calling it like it is. He's one of the few mainstream voices openly willing to say the word jealousy. He's seen it. Fans have seen it. Anyone watching the WNBA can feel it. And on First Take, during his interview with Nafisa Collier, he dropped a truth bomb after she complained about Caitlyn Clark getting more nationally televised games.
But then this dude named Michael Jordan came along. And Michael Jordan came along and he wasn't yet winning championships, but his popularity was so astronomical that the NBA practically marketed everything they could around this guy. So to know that there's an example like that as a shining example to be followed that could benefit the league, particularly down the road, why is that an issue when we've seen that such a marketing plan has worked in the past?
What Candace delivered was one of the clearest, most balanced, and sharpest responses yet. It was the type of interview comment that instantly made Caitlyn Clark supporters everywhere nod their heads and say, exactly right.
Can you speak to that collective frustration that some may have been feeling, and whether or not you think it's something that's being overcome as you all thrive and move forward and continue to promote and uplift this league?
This wasn't just an answer, it was art. A masterstroke in perspective, and there's still more to unpack. But did you catch it? During her interview, Candace admitted she's often asked whether she feels jealous of Caitlyn Clark. That single question reveals how deep envy has spread across the WNBA. Imagine that media out.
You know, it's so crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right now. My job was to leave the game better than I came into it. You think Cheryl Miller is resentful for me that I had a league to play in? No, she's being the mentor that she is, and she's supporting and loving and sitting courtside cheering on Juju Watkins. And I'm doing the same for Caitlyn Clark and all the women in the WNBA.
Let's, fellow players, insiders, all approaching one of the most accomplished athletes in league history and asking if she's jealous of Caitlyn. That says it all. Yet Candace handled it perfectly, setting the bar for others. She explained, it's not about being jealous of who comes next. It's about elevating the game so the next star can shine. You don't need to dismiss Caitlyn. You don't have to act like her success is luck or ignore the fact she's lightning in a bottle. Instead, be proud that you helped create this platform and then support her, because it benefits everyone. And she didn't stop there. Without spelling it out word for word, she was clearly pointing at the background noise, the race-driven narratives that have, quietly and loudly, tried to downplay Caitlyn's rise.
I tuned in when Kevin Durant went back and played Russell Westbrook, and they bumped shoulders and everybody was tuned in, but I want to keep it within the lines of the game. And I think that's what's the most important. Now everybody has a Twitter finger, everybody can have reach to, the WNBA and make comments. But really the key is, let's keep it about basketball. That's my thing. And when we do that, then we're able to really grow the game and what it represents.
Hear that, WNBA? Hear that, Twitter critics? Keep the focus on basketball. Because all these race-centered takes aren't pushing the sport forward. They're not building anything. Instead, they're dragging the WNBA into the spotlight in the worst way possible, showing a league that can't even celebrate its biggest breakthrough without turning it into a cultural battle.
They want to paint the narrative that it's a white and black thing going on, and now that toxic energy is spilling over to people who don't even watch the games. So now they feel like they are a part of the league just because they know or feel like they know what's going on with the race thing. Like, cut it out, man. You all want the league to grow, but you all saying keep it about basketball, but y'all not keeping it about basketball. I don't get it.
Meanwhile, all Caitlyn Clark has done is play the game, entertain fans, and deliver exactly what they paid to see. In doing so, she has expanded the sport in ways the WNBA has never experienced. None of this has ever been about race. She's shown no hostility, no disrespect toward her peers, the fans, or the pioneers who came before her. On the contrary, she's shown nothing but appreciation, crediting past greats, praising her teammates, applauding the competition, and carrying herself with humility every single step. She isn't tearing the sport down, she's raising it higher. Just listen to Lisa Leslie in her interview when she praised Caitlyn's respect for basketball's legends.
And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that.
And that respect isn't coming from an outsider. It's from a true pioneer who helped establish the WNBA. Now Candace Parker is reinforcing the mindset every athlete should hold. Leave the game better than you found it. That way, players like Caitlyn can carry the flame forward just as she once did. That's how the cycle works. Bird and Magic opened the door for Jordan, who paved the way for Shaq, Kobe, LeBron, and now Luka and SGA. Each generation pushes the game to new heights, giving the next a brighter stage.
Billy, listen, I still know the Dominique Wilkins. I still know, all of those players, the Dr. J's and all that stuff. I don't think they're not salty that MJ came along and grew the game. I mean, that's what it is.
Caitlyn Clark.
Finally,
it's about the
Candace
future of the
highlighted
league
in her interview why the league must get its act together.
And finally,
because this moment
Candace
isn't only
touches on
about Caitlyn Clark. It's about the future direction of the entire WNBA.
The WNBA as a whole is in an amazing place. Now it's about business to me.
At the end of the day, this is business, and Candace understands that. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a highlight machine, she's a business powerhouse for the league.
If you have a good product and your biggest hurdle is getting people to sample the product, she's a godsend. There's no denying it.
If league officials thought they held all the leverage going into the next CBA without Caitlyn Clark, her injury just proved them wrong. But here's the twist. Remember how I said Fever fans were showing up strong? That detail matters a lot. Watch this.
The Indiana Fever's matchup on Friday versus the Sun drew 851,000 viewers, becoming the most viewed WNBA game on ION this season despite Caitlyn Clark's absence.
Even without Caitlyn Clark on the court, the Fever are still pulling impressive numbers. No, it's not the same as when Caitlyn plays, but that misses the point. What it shows is phase 1 of the Caitlyn Clark effect. It starts with the Fever and, if handled wisely, spreads across the entire WNBA. But it won't happen overnight. Cultural shifts like this take years. Done right, it creates the base for the next superstar, the one who takes things even further. Right now, the league is in its most critical growth stage ever, and they can't afford to waste it. That means embracing new fans, celebrating their star, and most importantly, protecting her on the court. That means better officiating and fair rules. Because you cannot let players target your golden goose with no consequences. The more leaders like Candace Parker step up in interviews and speak out, the more chance this fragile system has to stabilize. The big question, will the WNBA finally learn? Or will their weakness, the refusal to fully embrace Caitlyn Clark and the millions she brings, be the very thing that keeps them from rising? If you're still here, drop a goat in the comments because you're truly one for sticking through. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.